They don't take control. They make you give it. You meet them and everything shifts. The air feels charged. They look at you like you're the only person in the room, like they see something in you that nobody else has ever noticed. They ask questions, real questions, about your dreams, your fears, the things you rarely share. And when you answer, they don't just listen. They understand, completely, like they've lived inside your mind. They mirror your energy, match your rhythm, finish your thoughts. Within hours, you feel more connected to them than people you've known for years. Within days, you're rearranging your life to be near them. Within weeks, you realize you don't recognize yourself anymore. You've handed over your time, your boundaries, your autonomy. And you don't know when it happened, because they never demanded anything. They just made you want to give everything. This is seduction, not romance, not connection. Psychological manipulation disguised as irresistible charm. And the most dangerous part, it doesn't feel like manipulation. It feels like destiny. Seduction in the psychological sense isn't about sex. It's about control achieved through attraction rather than force. The seducer doesn't coerce. They captivate. They don't threaten. They charm. They don't trap you. They make you walk into the cage yourself and thank them for building it. This requires something most people don't have: strategic empathy. Empathy, the ability to understand someone's emotional state, is usually considered a virtue. But empathy without ethics is one of the most dangerous weapons in human psychology. The seducer reads you, identifies what you need, what you're missing, what you're desperate for but too afraid to ask, and then they become it. Not authentically, strategically. You need validation. They worship you. You need challenge. They intrigue you. You need safety. They protect you. You need excitement. They electrify you. They don't have a fixed personality. They have a fluid performance, tailored precisely to your vulnerabilities. This is emotional mirroring, and it's devastatingly effective. Humans are wired for reciprocity. When someone matches our energy, our values, our communication style, we feel understood, connected, safe. Mirror neurons in our brains fire when we observe someone behaving like us. This creates rapport automatically. We unconsciously like people who are similar to us. Seducers exploit this. They study you, then reflect back a perfected version of what you want to see. You think, we're so compatible. This connection is rare, but the connection isn't mutual. It's manufactured. You're connecting with a mirror, and mirrors don't have substance. Once mirroring establishes connection, reciprocity creates obligation. The seducer gives first: attention, gifts, compliments, favors. They overwhelm you with generosity before you've asked for anything. This triggers a psychological debt. Humans are hardwired to repay kindness. When someone gives us something, we feel obligated to give back. But here's the trap. The seducer's gifts aren't given freely. They're investments, calculated deposits into an emotional account they plan to withdraw from, with interest. You didn't ask for the gifts, but now you owe. And the debt isn't financial, it's psychological, emotional, sexual, temporal. They gave you attention. Now you owe them access. They made you feel special. Now you owe them loyalty. They listened to your problems. Now you owe them tolerance of their increasingly unreasonable behavior. And because they gave first, you feel guilty saying no. You feel like you're being ungrateful, selfish, cold. So you comply, even when it violates your boundaries, even when it costs you, because reciprocity feels like fairness. But in the hands of a seducer, it's coercion. Let's talk about power. Seduction operates through perceived equality that masks actual hierarchy. The seducer makes you feel like an equal, a partner, someone with agency. But power is always asymmetrical. They hold it. You don't. How? Information asymmetry. You reveal yourself. They remain mysterious. You share vulnerabilities. They share curated stories designed to bond you while revealing nothing real. Knowledge is leverage. The more they know about you, your fears, desires, insecurities, the more precisely they can manipulate. And you know only what they want you to know. The charming persona, the tragic backstory, the flattering attention. None of it true. All of it tactical. This dynamic appears in romance. The charming partner who sweeps you off your feet, then slowly isolates you from friends and family, who makes you feel like the center of their world until you've abandoned your world and have nowhere else to go. It appears in professional contexts. The charismatic mentor who makes you feel chosen, special, destined for greatness, then extracts free labor, loyalty, and silence about their unethical behavior. It appears in social influence. The guru, the coach, the thought leader who makes you feel seen, understood, part of an exclusive community, then monetizes your insecurity and dependence. Different contexts, same mechanism. Charm used to establish trust. Trust used to extract compliance. Now the neuroscience. When you're being seduced, your brain is flooded with dopamine, the neurotransmitter of desire, anticipation, reward. Every text from them, every smile, every moment of attention. Dopamine spike. Your brain starts associating them with pleasure. You become addicted. Not to them, to how they make your brain feel. And dopamine doesn't just create pleasure, it impairs judgment. When you're anticipating reward, your prefrontal cortex, responsible for rational decision-making, becomes less active. You stop evaluating whether this person is good for you. You stop noticing red flags. You stop listening to friends who express concern, because your brain is hijacked, craving the next hit, the next message, the next encounter. This is why seduction works even on intelligent, self-aware people. It's not about intelligence, it's about brain chemistry. Seducers throughout history understood this intuitively. Giacomo Casanova, the 18th century Venetian adventurer who seduced over 100 women. He didn't rely on looks, he relied on attention. He made each woman feel like she was the only woman who mattered. He studied them, mirrored them, became whoever they needed. And once they were entranced, he moved on, leaving devastation in his wake. Modern influencers do this at scale. The parasocial relationship. They speak directly to camera, make eye contact, share personal stories, create the illusion of intimacy with millions. You feel like they know you, like they're speaking to you personally, like there's a relationship. But there isn't. There's a performance, designed to extract attention, money, loyalty. The medium changed, the psychology didn't. So how do you recognize manipulative charm before you're caught? First, speed. If someone is moving too fast emotionally, be cautious. Real intimacy develops gradually. Seduction rushes because it needs to bypass your defenses. Second, intensity without substance. Do you actually know them? Or do you just feel intensely connected? Feeling isn't knowing. The seducer offers feeling while withholding information. Third, you're performing. Are you being yourself, or are you trying to maintain their interest? If you're editing yourself, walking on eggshells, working to keep them engaged, that's not connection. That's performance anxiety. Fourth, isolation. Do they encourage your outside relationships or subtly discourage them? Seducers isolate because isolation increases dependency. Fifth, inconsistency. Do they oscillate between intense attention and cold withdrawal? This intermittent reinforcement is the hallmark of manipulation. It keeps you hooked, always chasing the high of their approval. Sixth, you feel drained. Real connection energizes. Manipulation exhausts. If you feel constantly anxious, uncertain, or like you're never enough, you're being controlled, not loved. And finally, listen to your body. Your nervous system knows before your mind does. If you feel uneasy despite the charm, trust that. Your gut is detecting incongruence between their words and their energy. Here's the difference between authentic charisma and predatory seduction. Charisma attracts but doesn't attach. Seduction hooks. Charisma is consistent. Seduction fluctuates to maintain control. Charisma respects boundaries. Seduction tests and violates them. Charisma reveals itself over time. Seduction conceals itself strategically. Charisma empowers. Seduction entraps. Real charm makes you feel more like yourself. Manipulation makes you feel like you need to become someone else to keep them. The seducer's mind is strategic, empty, always performing, never present. They don't see you as a person. They see you as a resource, attention, validation, control, supply. And once they've extracted what they need, you're discarded, left confused, blaming yourself, wondering what you did wrong. You did nothing wrong. You were targeted, studied, exploited by someone who understands psychology better than ethics. But now you know, and knowledge is immunity. You can be charmed, but you don't have to be controlled. You can enjoy charisma, but you don't have to surrender autonomy. You can feel attraction, but you don't have to ignore red flags. Because real connection, real love, real friendship, real mentorship doesn't require manipulation. It doesn't need mirroring. It allows difference. It doesn't demand reciprocity. It gives freely. It doesn't rush intimacy. It builds trust slowly. It doesn't isolate. It integrates. Real charisma frees. It makes you feel more capable, more confident, more yourself. Manipulation cages. It makes you smaller, dependent, lost. The difference is intention, and time reveals intention. So when you meet someone irresistibly charming, don't ask, "Do I like them?" Ask, "Do I still recognize myself when I'm with them?" If the answer is yes, enjoy. If the answer is no, walk away. Because charm that controls isn't charm. It's a cage painted gold, and you deserve more than beautiful captivity. You deserve connection that expands you, not seduction that erases you.